Hey there, my fellow mutant arcade warriors and button mashers. Today we're diving into the classic fighting game that brought the X-Men to the arcades and set the stage for future hits. X-Men Children of the Atom. This game didn't just let you brawl with Wolverine's claws or Cyclops' optic blast. It revolutionized the genre with its vibrant graphics, tight gameplay, and over-the-top super moves. Stick around to the end and we'll reveal a few secret fan-favorite characters hidden in the game's code. Let's jump right into the world where the X-Men's fiercest battles leaped off the comic book pages and onto our screens.
We have to get a new publicist.
Back in the early 1990s, the X-Men was more than just comic book heroes. They were a pop culture phenomenon. With their animated series smashing TV ratings, it was only a matter of time before they hit the arcades. Enter Capcom, a Japanese game developer already famous for its fighting games like Street Fighter II. Capcom saw an opportunity not just to capitalize on the X-Men's popularity, but to innovate the fighting game genre. So, how did Capcom manage to snag the rights to these comic book icons? It was a strategic partnership with Marvel Comics, sealed by Capcom's reputation for high-quality arcade hits. This collaboration was a bit of a gamble. At the time, other comic book-based games had mixed successes, and the challenge was to design a game that lived up to both the action-packed style of the comics and the competitive nature of arcade fighting games. The development was spearheaded by Akira Yasuda, also known as Akiman, an influential Capcom artist and designer known for his work on Street Fighter II. Akiman was tasked not just with game design, but also with ensuring the characters looked and felt like they leapt right out of the comic books. The goal was to create a visual spectacle that captured the essence of the X-Men universe, complete with detailed sprites and animations that showcased each character's unique powers. Another key figure was Noritaka Funamizu, who took on the role of producer. Funamizu's expertise in game mechanics was instrumental in integrating complex character abilities that were faithful to the comics but balanced for competitive gameplay. This was the birth of the game's unique mechanic, the ability to use super jumps and projectile weapons, which later became staples in the genre. Development wasn't without its hurdles, though. The team faced the enormous task of translating the complex world of X-Men into a format that was not only playable but also fun and competitive. Balancing the characters' powers, for example, was a nightmare. Imagine making sure that Wolverine's Berserker Barrage wasn't overpowering, but it still felt as ferocious as fans would expect. And speaking of characters, the roster for this game was a fan's dream come true, featuring a wide array of characters directly from the pages of the comics. From the adamantium-clad Wolverine to the weather-wielding Storm, each character was meticulously crafted not only to look like their comic counterpart, but to fight like them too. The game featured 10 playable characters, each with their own backstory integrated into the gameplay. Wolverine, Cyclops, Psylocke, Storm, Colossus, Iceman, and others weren't just random fighters, they were part of an ongoing story that pitted them against the villainous Magneto, who was plotting yet another world-threatening scheme. The inclusion of villains like Omega Red and Silver Samurai as playable characters added depth and variety, offering players the chance to explore the darker side of the X-Men universe. The storyline of the game was straightforward yet effective. Magneto threatens the world, and the X-Men must stop him. However, Capcom added layers to this by including individual endings for each character, providing snippets of what could be if they were to defeat Magneto and achieve their personal goals. This narrative technique was clever. It not only encouraged players to try out different characters, but also enriched the game with multiple layers of storytelling. The character design was another area where Capcom didn't hold back. Each character's abilities and moves were reflective of their powers in the comics. For instance, Cyclops' optic blast was a long-range projectile attack, while Wolverine's Berserker Barrage allowed him to close distances quickly, embodying their traits from the books. This fidelity was not just visual but mechanical, as each character's gameplay was designed to mirror their personas and powers, making battles feel like they were straight out of the comic book panel. What set Children of Atom apart in the gameplay department was the introduction of the super jump and the ability to perform screen-filling super moves, which would later become staples in Capcom fighting games. But in addition to that, this game introduced several other mechanics that have since become mainstays in the genre, pushing the envelope in how fighting games were played and experienced. First off, the game utilized a 6-button layout typical of Capcom fighters, but it's the way these buttons were used that made all the difference. Each character had a unique set of moves and combos that would be executed through various button combinations, which were intuitive yet challenging to master. The real game changer, however, was the introduction of the super meter. This meter would fill up as characters took damage or executed regular moves, and, once full, it allowed players to unleash powerful Hyper X special moves. These moves were not only visually spectacular, but could turn the tide of a battle in seconds, making strategic use of the super meter a key element of deeper gameplay. And as mentioned earlier, we have the super jump, allowing characters to leap incredible heights, making battles more dynamic and giving players more freedom to devise aerial attacks and strategies. This added a vertical dimension to the gameplay, expanding the tactical possibilities beyond the ground level tussles typical of fighting games from this generation. And speaking of strategies, if you think strategizing on how to best use your character's super moves is tough, try figuring out the best time to hit that like and subscribe button. But seriously, if you enjoy deep dives into classic games like this, hitting that button helps us a lot, and who knows, maybe it'll boost your combo skills too.
Make sure you take off your belt, empty the change from your pockets.
Sorry, had my adamantium keys in my pocket. Let me just grab them with my claws.
Hey, yeah, never mind, it's fine, go ahead.
This game also introduced environmental interactions, where certain stages had elements that players could use to their advantage, adding yet another layer of strategy. From destructible objects to hazards that could damage players, the environments were more than just backdrops. They were active participants in the fight. All of this combined made X-Men Children of the Atom a quick hit, setting sales records in many arcades across the globe. The game's blend of vibrant graphics, faithful character representation, and innovative gameplay mechanics resonated strongly both X-Men fans and fighting game enthusiasts. From a sales perspective, Children of the Atom was a standout performer. While exact sales figures from the 90s are hard to pin down, industry reports and arcade operators highlighted the game as a top earner, outperforming other popular games of the time. The game's success was a testament to the growing trend of comic book characters being successfully integrated into video games, providing a lucrative new avenue for both game developers and comic publishers. The game's influence can be seen in its direct contribution to the evolution of fighting games. Capcom, learning from the success and gameplay innovations of Children of Atom, would go on to develop Marvel superheroes, and later the Marvel vs. Capcom series, which expanded on the mechanics introduced in the Children of Atom. These series not only perpetuated the legacy of Capcom's partnership with comic book characters, but also continued to innovate the fighting game genre. The fact is, in X-Men Children of Atom, every punch, kick, and super move was packed with surprises, but it was the game's richly layered secrets and Easter eggs that really made it a treasure trove for fans and gamers alike. One of the most intriguing, well-known Easter eggs in Children of Atom was the inclusion of Akuma from Street Fighter as a hidden character. This crossover was both unexpected and groundbreaking, as it bridged the gap between two of Capcom's biggest franchises. To access Akuma, players had to perform a specific and complex series of actions during the character selection screen, a task that required precision and timing. This secret character was not just a nod to hardcore gamers, but also served as a playful wink from Capcom, acknowledging their growing universe of characters. Another lesser-known fact involves the game's development process. Originally, developers had planned to include a character roster that was even larger, with fan favorites like Nightcrawler and Beast slated for inclusion. However, due to time constraints, these characters were cut from the final game. Some remnants of their development can still be found in the game's code, a fact that modders and hackers have uncovered over the years. And there you have it, the epic saga of X-Men Children of the Atom, where comic books met arcade buttons and gave us all a reason to hoard quarters like they were Infinity Stones. From secret characters to sneaky Easter eggs, this game wasn't just a trip to the arcade, it was a full-on geek pilgrimage. So, whether you're here to relieve those joystick-waggling days or just diving into the lore, remember, in a world of retro gaming, every pixel tells a story, and every combo unlocks a memory. Over and out, fellow mutants. May your reflexes be quick and your nostalgia endless. If you enjoyed this look through the history of X-Men Children of Atom, click this video here to see more from the Retro Reload. And as always, thank you for watching.